there, and welcome to the HFP T.Vcast podcast thing, Journey of Conquest, week by week in theory, although it's more episode by episode. We're not really managing week by week. We go through Mortal Kombat Conquest episode by episode and just explore the majesty that is this 1999 television series. This week it's episode 8 of Mortal Kombat Conquest, which makes it episode 7 of our podcast because we did a double bill in the first episode. I'm going to have to say that every week just for my own sake. I'm not saying that for listeners. We don't have any. But for the sake of myself to get things. So this is episode 8, Undying Dream.
Undying Dream. This week we follow Sam's favourite character, played by his favourite actress of all time, in possibly one of his favourite films of all time that he talks about all the time.
Right, you're right, I do talk about that film. The film Tom's referring to is Terminator 3, which I absolutely hate. I'm not going to go into it because it would be an hour's podcast and me ranting why I hate that film. But basically I think it's an awful instalment in a franchise that up to that point was pretty damn awesome.
And for you has pretty much destroyed the career of this actress, and as far as you're concerned she can never be in anything ever again because you don't care.
She hasn't been in anything ever
again.
I don't think it's all just her fault. I think there's a bunch of reasons why, but she, like...
She's like the icon figure of it.
Yeah, in a completely unreasonable way. When I see her face, I feel betrayed. This episode, as Tom has alluded to, focuses on the character of Taja. We'll begin a proper run through of events. Tom, what did you think of this episode?
It was definitely a filler episode. It was more Taja's an idiot episode, which I don't mind so much because the last 2 weeks we've had Sarah as an idiot, so it's a bit of a change of pace. There's no Raiden, which in
those scales the negative would be the lack of Raiden, but the positive would be the abundance of Shang Tsung this week, including great lines. Right, so that's your view on this episode. I will have to come up with my view as we go through it, because there are things about this episode I think about and smile, and there are other things where I just get annoyed. And then there's other stuff which is really stupid but I love, and stuff that was supposed to be serious that I hate. I don't know with this episode. It confused me.
I couldn't tell if Vortex forgot how to act in some of the scenes this week.
Yeah, right. Yeah, we've built this up enough. Let's go through episode by... let's go through the episode, not episode by episode. What am I doing? So you'll hear rustling of paper because I make notes. Tom doesn't make notes. How long ago did you watch this episode, Thomas?
Last night.
Cool, so it's fresh.
Yeah.
Because obviously last week we had the whole... I'm not saying I had to hold your hand, but...
We were delayed by a week due to illnesses, and then I didn't refresh because fuck watching it twice.
Yeah. Well, if you remember, when you said you didn't refresh, I didn't say you should have refreshed because you were like, fuck watching this twice. Okay. Cool. Right, so... Our characters are pretty much stationary of where they've been. We have Kung Lao, Zero, and Taja together. And for the second week running, at the end of last week, Kung Lao and Zero had an argument that ended with a romantic moment of, we like each other overall. Respect you, bro. Respect you. Right. We start in the trading post.
Yeah.
Taja's making a sale. There's nothing. The characters she was selling to was so nondescript. Even in Mortal Kombat Conquest style. I will say it began with another nice, it was a high angle looking down at this marketplace, people milling about. They've definitely got the scenery looking. I feel like they've looked off the set, they've made it look and feel like a place instead
I almost feel like they got a ton of extras in and just did one day of just getting that fucking set. And we're just going to do loads of shots for the beginnings.
Crowds and inserts, which it works because the early episodes maybe felt a bit more like it was a theatre.
You had actors looking at the camera as they walk past, not really knowing where they're going.
You did indeed. Taja sees an old man. Killer's confused. She yells "Dad," but the man walks away. Doesn't even really look at her, just walks away. That to me would instantly suggest it's not her dad.
Yeah.
But she follows. She chases. He stood in a random street, an alleyway. She runs up and she's like, Dad, he's not said anything.
Yeah. She
hugs him. Now, if I saw my dad and he was being mute and he was running away from me and then he was stood being mute. Now, this might be because my dad isn't mute. Maybe Taja's dad was always like this. I wouldn't, my first instinct wouldn't be hug. It would be "Are you my dad? What's going on? Why aren't you?"
Yeah.
But she just hugs him in a big hug, and a portal opens up, and she gets dragged into credits.
Yeah.
I really enjoyed that intro. It was nice little setup. Oh, Taja's in,
Tell us what we're going to be going through the episode.
Yeah.
The thing that kind of bugged me a little bit, and it goes on throughout the show, and I don't know if you will have noticed it or not, Taja is a lot more attractive in this episode. Like, all the other episodes she's been a bit character.
Mm-hmm.
In this episode, it's like she's airbrushed. It's like, they've just spent ages on her makeup because they're like, she's going to be in the shots a lot, and all the lighting on her is like really good compared to everything else.
When I look at her, all I see is the tears of thousands of Terminator fans. I don't. When I see her, I don't have that instinct of, oh, she looks more attractive this week or not, because she is beyond. I'm not capable of being attracted to the TX.
Yeah.
It's just, I'm not. And I don't want to hold it against Christina Loken. She seems like, I googled her, no jail.
Yeah.
So that would indicate that she's doing good. But anyway, post the credits, which is the usual credits. We go to the mines, and we get Vorpix. Is this one of those scenes where you weren't sure if she'd remembered she could act or not?
Well, there's some scenes, right, where she kind of does like a weird thing with her face, and her eyebrows don't move and show any expression at all, and it's really weird. It's like she's had like extreme Botox in her, like just in the top of her head. And then there's other scenes where she's really good.
Okay.
So,
okay, well, you have Vorpix, who is like Shang Tsung's like attractive, redheaded, dresses in green follower.
Yeah.
And she's like with Taja, like, welcome to Cobalt Mines, you're not well. And Taja's like, no, I'm not. She goes, yeah, you are. She goes, where's my dad? She goes, we might be here, might not.
Yeah.
And Taja's like, I need to see my dad. She's like, why? You've got other friends here. And Taja just completely ignores that line, just no-sells it completely, and it's just like, where's my dad? And then Shang Tsung just walks up, and it's like, Shang Tsung, and then Taja goes to slap Vorpix, and Shang Tsung grabs her wrist and says, you can die later if you like. Like, I need you now.
Yeah.
And I was like, that's instantly, I love Shang Tsung. I just love the arrogance of everything he does, because he's like, but she'll kill you, but not yet. Shang Tsung instantly explains that Taja is to be a trap, and he's like, we're going to get Kung Lao to come to Outworld. And this led me to my first issue. You called this filler, but this is a very significant development. We now know that at any point Zero Taja could be dragged to Outworld. We're in episode 8. Why the fuck haven't they done this before? This seems like plan A or B. Like plan A might be send a bunch of warriors to Earth to kill Kung Lao. Doesn't work. Grab Kung Lao's friends and grab them. Maybe even kill them and get Kung Lao to come after revenge. I don't know. Kung Lao's monkeyness might get in the way of that. Yeah. This doesn't seem like filler to me. This felt like a very significant plan. And I don't get why Shang Tsung waited this long to try this.
Yeah. It's like, this whole time he's been sending people after him, and then eventually he's just gone, I've got other people here. I could probably, maybe if I bring him here, he can just fight all of them, and he'll die. Yeah,
if the mountain will go to Muhammad can go to the mountain. It's that thing. Anyway, Vorpix insists that Taja's like, so it's not my dad, and Vorpix's like, no, it's your dad, it could be, you think it is, you'll find out. And that's that. Taja just runs away.
Well, before that, right, she does like a bit where she's like, he won't fall, he's not going to fall for the plan, he's stupid. And then Shao Tsung has a great and true moment. It's just, no, but it's later he'll destroy him. He'll do it. He'll know it's a trap. They'll fucking do it.
I totally believe Kung Lao would go into the jaws of hell to save his friend. Like, that's Kung Lao's fucking MO. Is that's his weakness. Right? We've already had Raiden tell him. So this is a little continuity because Raiden's constantly telling him like the friends will kill you.
Yeah.
And but then Taja just runs away.
Yeah.
And they just watch her go, and then Vorpix is like, shall I go get her? And Shang Tsung's like, no. calls out a big generic dude. I think this might be our first WCW wrestler, but it wasn't anyone significant enough that I could tell who
it was.
Yeah, because in one bit we've got Haku coming, or Warlord, or Meng. And that's a really important one, and we'll talk about that crazy Samoan. But yeah, so this guy's just like, and he's like, I want her alive. The rest I leave up to you, which is basically saying, go rape her if you want, just don't kill her. Do whatever you want to her.
Beat the shit out of her, do what you want, as long as she's alive.
Just don't kill her.
Leave her breathing.
And it's done in such a, like, I don't want to say it's like subtle and clumsy at the same time. It's subtle because it's like he's not actually saying any of those things, he's just suggesting it. But it's really clumsy because it's so fucking casual. Do you know what I mean? In a show where it's not meant to go to that kind of extreme of well, violence, yes. Domestic violence and rape, no. You know, like the Mortal Kombat.
Well, as we were pointing out last week, no one's really died.
Yeah.
Like, it's a show that should be about death, basically, and no one's actually died.
Yeah. And if you want, like, Mortal Kombat, they don't give a shit. They do give a shit. In Mortal Kombat 1, Johnny Cage has a move where he does this. Is it 1 or 2? It might be 2. No, it's 1. Johnny Cage has a move. He does the splits and punches you in the bollocks.
Yeah.
Try that on Sonya Blade. He won't do the punch. He just goes, and then you leave yourself open to an attack. Because Mortal Kombat already had that policy of we don't punch girls in the crotch. Which I don't get, because, you know, it would win.
Yeah.
Anyway, so the guy goes after Taja. The guy's just this generic guy. He didn't get a name. He's just a big dude, bit of a beard, snarly. Yeah. But at least he had a face. He wore a hat, but he had a face and didn't just have like a generic bandana on.
Yeah.
And then we cut to the trading post home base, and it's Kung Lao and Zero having a bit of banter about nothing.
Yeah.
And it was like, oh, I thought you are kind of friends now. That's boring. Yeah. Maybe you shouldn't be friends. And then they're like, where's Taja? And oh no, sorry, they're not. They're like, oh, Taja's out. Yeah. Then they hear a noise, which is a bit like, and they go outside, and there is a ghost version of Taja stood there, floating in the air. She's like semi-transparent, and she speaks with Shang Tsung's voice, and it's like, come find me or your friend dies. Come to this alleyway this time, Portal, Kung Lao, I want you. And disappears. And Kung Lao is like, Ciro's instantly like, we've got to go get her. And Kung Lao's like, he might not have her. Yeah. He might be faking it. Ciro's like, what if he's not? And Kung Lao's like, well, do you know Taja? Yeah. Where will she be? We'll go check. And Ciro's like, no, we've got to go get her. It's like, I'm with Kung Lao on this. If you're just going to charge in without at least checking that Shang Tsung has the person, then Shang Tsung needs to do even less work. You know what I mean? And so that's basically that. Oh, he does say her life for yours, which I thought was a nice line, and Shang Tsung's voice delivered it well, and Taja's expression went with it. You know, because she actually acted out that like as if she was Shang Tsung. The mannerisms were there. It was quite good actually. So they're off to look for her, and then we get Taja being chased. Like it's like 5 seconds, if that. She runs. The big guy's chasing her. Then we go back to Zero and Kung Lao, and this is like, you know, I was talking about these bits that really bug me, right? So Zero comes down from Taja's room, and he has a giant golden golf ball. Or that's how I would explain this. I would just go, it's the texture of a golf ball, but it's big. Yeah, like so just fits in a hand, kind of big.
It's like slightly bigger than a cricket ball type.
Oh, way bigger than a cricket ball.
Fair enough.
Tom doesn't know cricket.
To me, a cricket ball seems big, but I don't think I've held a cricket ball since I was about 10. So it might be that relative size that was the same.
Right, I've realised what's happened here. A cricket ball is probably about twice as big as a golf ball, which is what I originally said. So it wasn't. It was like 4 times or 5 times as big as a golf ball. You can tell I don't do golf.
No.
And he's like, I found this in her room. It's important. It belongs to her. It's important to her. Yeah. And they're like, Kung Lao's like, what is it? Don't know. But she usually goes to this place. Let's take it with us and go check.
Yeah.
And it's like she usually shops here. They might know. Let's go check. That's a really tenuous link. Yeah. Like, this might be important because it's something. Let's go find out what it is. Yeah. And then we get Taja fighting. The guy's chasing her. Then she starts to fight, and this fight she was winning. She's constantly like kicking the dude.
Yeah.
And she's doing like these cool things. It's almost like Matrixy, Neo from the Matrix, like leg out, held there, kick in the face kind of thing. I actually like this. I was thinking, this is the first proper time I've seen Taja have a fight that it wasn't like a couple of moves knocked down.
Yeah.
But and there was like in wrestling, you talk about psychology, like what's going on in a fight. There was actually a thing to this fight, which she's kicking the dude, knocking him down, then trying to run away, and he gets her just before she gets away. He's like grabbing a leg or a wrist or pulling her. Or pushing her away from the exit, and they're repeating it. And I actually thought this fight was one of the better, like, storied. I know what's going on, and I actually am interested and can tell what these characters are doing.
Yeah, it's not like a random fight break.
No, there was like this was probably the best fight I've seen in the whole series, as far as characters' motivation, understanding, meaning something, and the action telling a story rather than just being kick, punch, close up. Why?
Yeah,
you know. But she loses. And she loses badly by basically being hit against a wall and slammed to the floor.
Yeah.
And then this guy is on top of her. And he's snarling. And it's very, like, before rape was maybe suggested by Shang Tsung, it's fucking going to happen now. Like, there's nothing else. This guy is grinning in this way. And then you get a proper comedy. Bong! Sound effect. The guy goes down, and behind him, Vorpik stands with a shovel. Oh, we've got a face turn. And she's like, oh, okay, I didn't actually write down any quotes because she didn't say anything particularly good.
No.
But she's like, Taja's like, why are you helping me? And she's like, you're like me, I'm helping you because we're the same. And Taja's like, we're not the same. She goes, please, you're a slave, I'm a slave down here.
Yeah.
Like, I'm a slave. She's like, you work for Shang Tsung? No, I'm just his slave. He makes me do things. Oh, man, I hate them. Da-da-da. Yeah. And then, to prove that she works for Shang Tsung, she smashes the guy a second time while he's helpless on the floor with the shovel.
Yeah.
And it's like, well, yeah, you kind of, you know, if you don't want to make people think you work for Shang Tsung, maybe don't do everything he says and, you know, poison and kill monks like you did 5 episodes ago. Basically, then they go off. Basically, she agrees to help Taja look for her father. Oh, Taja's like, I'm going to look for my dad.
Yeah.
And Vorpik's like, there's like 100 floors in this one. He could be anywhere. And Taja's like, I don't care. And Vorpik's like, fine, I'll help you. Then we get Zero and Kung Lao meeting a terrible actor. This is a woman in a, like, basically a bikini. Basically, it's something akin to Princess Leia in Jedi.
Yeah.
And they're holding out the ball to her. She speaks in a foreign accent with no particularly good grasp of English language, let alone emotion. And they gave her real lines.
Yeah.
All about, like, oh, Taja does this, and Taja does that, and that ball's from this game, and don't you know it? And how do I know it? How do you know Taja? Da-da-da-da. And this is supposed to be a really good scene because it was supposed to be, actually, Kung Lao and Zero know fuck all about Taja, and they're slowly discovering that this little thief who's out all the time isn't just out in their lives and a part of their lives. She has her own life, which is significant and rounded and filled with people. But this actor kills the beginning of that because it's just, there's nothing to her performance. Like, it wasn't even like so bad it was good. It was just completely rubbish.
Yeah.
Like, but she tells him the ball is for a game, and then asks them if they really knew Taja, and tells them that this game's in this club.
Yeah.
Boom. We instantly cut to the bar. Sorry, you felt like you were going to say something.
Like that whole scene. What made it worse is that Zero and Kung Lao. Kung Lao.
Yeah.
Actually did a good job on their half of it, which made the bad seem so much worse.
And also, like, this is the thing I was liking about this episode, is Taja is a character that the show hasn't really done anything with. All we know is she's a thief, she's a bit tricksy, and she tends to just back away and have her own, be in her own self. You're now finding out what she does in her own self, and actually she's an interesting character.
Playing games, doing trading, chilling out, and
And then her like dead dad, and the story behind that is like, oh, there's stuff to it. So I'm like, this is a Taja episode that's actually got some depth to it, and I'm actually finding more about this character because Zero is Zero. He's slowly learning to not go on his own to places where he might die.
Yeah,
he's learned that twice now, and Kung Lao has Jen. Was it Jen?
Yeah,
the girl who died in the first episode, and the weight of the world, and you know Kung Lao straight away. But Taja's always been kind of mistreated or neglected by the series. So actually making the effort here was like great. It just didn't. This scene completely didn't pay off how it was meant to, which I thought was a real shame. So we go to the bar. How would you describe this game?
I can't even remember the game properly.
It's marbles. It's just giant balls, marbles. Yeah. It's literally like there's a bunch of balls on the floor. A guy rolls, hits once. They make like a clonking noise sound effect, which clearly is not because these balls are sponging off each other.
Yeah.
And a bunch of balls roll out of this circle and people cheer. That's fucking marbles. It's just giant marbles.
Yeah.
Why bother?
It's like shitty bowling thing. Yeah.
And they have a bunch of people crowded round. They all look really sinister. And then as they walk to the bar, this guy comes up who's something between like the Emperor and Igor, and is like, "We're closed." And they're like, "We want to know about Taja." I said, "We're closed. There's no Taja here." Da da da. The guy there, Kung Lao and Zero are like really insistent. So then he's like, "Well, her boyfriend might know." And Zero's like, "Her boyfriend?" And then this guy comes up wearing no shirt. He's muscular, he's wearing no shirt, and him and Zero basically have the equivalent of a bro off, tensing their pets.
Yeah.
It's like, "Hey bro, you're Taja's boyfriend, she never mentioned you." "She never mentioned you either, bro. What are you on, bro?" "Well, do you know where she might be, bro?" Don't know, bro. "What are you looking for her for?" "We're just looking for her." "Where is she?" "Don't know." Just fucking... I loved it. I loved every second of this. Like, this guy was acting enough that he could act, and he'd clearly been told, "You're a meathead. Play it as a meathead. Don't try and steal the scene. Don't chew the scenery. Don't do any of that shit. Just be a fucking meathead."
Yeah.
All your lines are delivered like a cocky asshole. Or maybe he's just naturally a cocky asshole. And you're a cocky asshole. Say these lines just like you would. And Zero's cocky as well, and yeah, this worked for me. I like this. And he mentions the key word is a silk merchant. Yeah. They mentioned that there's a silk merchant that Taja knows. Yeah, you and me? Have I missed anything here?
Don't think so.
Cool. We go back to the mines.
Nothing that's important enough for me to think of.
Yeah. We go back to the mines.
Yeah.
Shang Tsung in a chair. Can you remember this bit?
Possibly.
Oh, Shang Tsung is in his throne room.
Yeah.
Right. Okay. Right now, I am sat on a sofa. We're sat on my sofa, right? But you're sat like you would sit. Your feet are on the floor. You're leaning down. I'm sat. My hands are on my head, and my feet are up. So my body is horizontal, like my legs to my arse, and then my side. Shang Tsung is like that, but lounged back with a plate on his belly of like chicken bones, and he's just picking at them. I was like, oh, he's so evil. He's just chilling out, and he's grinning to himself as he eats the bones, like. And Vulpix approaches about. She's like, "What are you gonna do with Taja?" And Shang Tsung's like, what do you mean? He goes, "Well, after Kung Lao comes, you're gonna kill Kung Lao. Yeah. What are you gonna do with Taja?" "Oh, I'll just give it to the Emperor. She can be his plaything." He literally says plaything. So again, third rapey thing. And Vulpix is like, "What about me?" And he's like, "What about you?" And he goes, "Well, when you kill Kung Lao and give her to the Emperor, and the Emperor's happy with you and he lets you out, will you take me with you?" And with a bone in his hand, Shang Tsung is just like, "Maybe."
Yeah.
Depends what mood I'm in. It just goes back to...
It's like, he just goes, "Maybe." It's like, "What do you mean maybe?" It's like, "Depends what mood I'm in."
Yeah. Just casual. Not even trying to insult her. It's just like the brutal honesty of Shang Tsung.
It might even actually be depends. It might be like, I think he says like depends, and she's like, "Depends on what?"
I think it is that. I think it's like depends on what mood I'm in. Yeah. Shang Tsung, great. I'm loving the Shang Tsung scenes. I'm loving what they're attempting to do with Taja. There's just a few scenes at the minute dragging it down. So at the minute, I was very high on this episode. We're slowly getting towards why I wasn't high. Right. We get Zero and Kung Lao, and they're searching, and we don't even see the silk merchant. Literally just Zero's in the street, effectively with a hand above his eyes, looking as if he's looking through a crowd, even though there's no crowd. And then Kung Lao comes out and goes, "Where did that silk merchant? He said she was chasing a man. There's someone down here. We should go look for him." And that's that scene.
Yeah.
It's just we don't even get the silk merchant. I was looking forward to finding more about Taja. We go back, and Vulpix and Taja. Vulpix has gone from Shang Tsung to Taja very quickly, are having a row. It's basically, I'm like you. No, I'm not.
Yeah.
Yes, you are. No, you're not. I'm different. We're both women. You're not like me as a woman. A woman's a woman. No, it's not, Vulpix. Fuck you. How can you work for Shang Tsung?
Yeah.
Was this another one where you thought she might have forgotten to act? Because her lines were very shouted here. In the last scene, she was great, and her little look of fear when he says "depends what mood I'm in" was great. Vulpix act I'm talking about.
Yeah, I think a lot of the shots were close-ups again. You know, it was another one where it like felt like everything was rushes, which we mentioned in the last one, where you just filmed just the lines of one person in case you need them. It felt like it was just back to back of those, so that she's not playing off anyone like she is with Shang Tsung. She's just saying the lines.
Yeah.
And that's how it felt, and like the expression on her face like didn't match top to bottom.
Yeah.
And
Right. So I don't know if this is coming across, but this episode also, because it was 2 locations, was cutting a lot between the 2. So they were much briefer, and I actually thought that worked better because there was some dialogue and character stuff. I was like, quicker character scenes and not the fights isn't really damaging the series at all at the minute. We then get, it's Kung Lao, and he's talking to another woman in underwear who's not the first woman in underwear, and he's just like, "Where's Taja?" And he goes, "Oh, she was chasing the guy down this way." Nothing seen. We go back, and Vulpix is like, "So why do you want to see your dad?" And Taja's like, "Well, and he goes, "He might be here. You might be here forever. He might be solid. Might be trapped. You don't know." And Taja's like, "Why is he here?" He's like, "Well, you'll find out, won't you? If you want to. Maybe not. Shouldn't really bother. Why are you bothered? You don't care about your dad." Da da da. And Taja's like, "You don't know anything about me," which links back to their whole "we're different." And Taja's like, I did meet one guy. Yeah, he was talking about his wife and his daughter, such and such an age, look like this. Don't know if they're anything." Taja instantly like, "That's my mother and my sister." And Vulpix like, "Oh, I got your attention, have I? Yeah, so probably is here then, isn't he?" And then we go Kung Lao, and he's in his bedroom. He pulls open a drawer, and he pulls out the essence.
Yeah.
I didn't realise it was the essence, because it wasn't in a red bag, and it now looks like a crystallised dildo is effectively how I describe. How would you describe the essence?
It's basically like a glow-in-the-dark dildo with jagged edges. Slightly jagged edges.
Yeah. We then go back to Vulpix and Taja, and Taja's like, "Tell me where my dad is," and Vulpix is like, "He could be dead. These mines are deadly. Like, Shang Tsung might have killed him the minute he brought you back. You don't know. He could have do that. He's that kind of guy. We shouldn't bother looking." So I'm not quite sure. But then it gets really weird. This music starts playing, which is like dun 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 dun, and they both look confused, and they both like go along this tunnel, and then we get, this is the hardest bit I've ever so far to watch. It was a strobe light, basically a very slow strobe light, and Vulpix and Taja are like hidden behind a rock watching a chain gang go past. But they didn't do a chain gang. They just had people wearing chains walk past really close to the camera, so you could just see hands with chains. But having those guys walk across while this fucking strobe light is flashing up on their faces, this white, bright strobe light, it generally hurt my eyes, and I was like, I'm glad I'm not epileptic, because I'm pretty sure this is like the number, like this is a agitator or whatever. And it's just like, Vulpix is just like, "There's a chain gang, da-da-da," and Taja's like, "My father might be around here." Vulpix is like, "Fine, I'll help you find him, let's go." They go down one tunnel, and Shang Tsung is stood there. But he's not just stood, he stood there in like shadow. Yeah. And like instantly, like, Taja's like, "Shang Tsung," and Vulpix just goes, "I got it, Shang Tsung, I got it for you." And I loved it. I was like, Shang Tsung just looks at it, it's like, take her back to the throne room. And then we get Kung Lao in a street. He's waiting for the portal, and Zero turns up. And
so we did miss one. Well, no, we didn't miss a bit.
Yeah.
But I think you skipped over it because I was thinking it was a different bit. The last, before he got went to his room.
Yeah.
The woman he went to see. That's where he was keeping it, her room there.
Oh yeah, because she knew him. Yeah.
But you have like this whole weird little bit with that. Like he's a monk.
There was sexual tension
there was
between
some
the
sexual
two.
tension there.
Yeah,
Like,
I missed an important bit. Right, we'll go back and do this bit properly. When Kung Lao goes for the essence, the crystalline dildo now, he knocks on the door and this woman answers. This woman is sort of Kung Lao age. She's attractive. She's got like that 90s kind of short hair, bowl cut, but effect going on. She's just quite skimpily, and she greets him like a friend with benefit.
Yeah, she's like, "Oh, hey, what are you doing here? It's late. I'm hardly dressed."
Mm-hmm. And Kung Lao plays it like a smiley friend, not like a socially awkward. Oh, I'm sorry. Just like a, oh well, I have to do this. Smile, like he's gone. It's the equivalent of two people who are planning to have sex, but neither wants to admit it to the other.
Yeah.
So let's go in for coffee. Oh, you want sex? Oh, I didn't even think about it. I guess we could. But then if neither of you goes for sex, you have the get out of well, neither of us was trying. Even you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Cool. Is that enough of that scene?
Yeah.
Okay. So we had Shang Tsung, Vorpix being low. Kung Lao's waiting in the street for the portal to appear. Zero rushes up. What are you doing? Kung Lao's like, I'm going after her. Ciro's like, we're going after her. No, we're not. You'll just get killed. He can't kill me. You can't go. So it's like, but it's Taja. Kung Lao's like, don't worry, I'll bring her back. Look, trust me.
I've got a way out.
Yeah, I'm going to do this my way. Boom, the portal opens. Zero backs towards the portal, grinning at Kung Lao and goes, okay, we'll do this your way. Together! And drives into the portal. It was like you knew instantly when he's backing towards the portal with that grin, he's going to do it. But Kung Lao was still super surprised and just like, damn it! And then dived in after him. I really enjoyed that. It's a nice Zero moment. I was like, yeah. And also, you could argue more continuity of Zero learning, you don't do things on your own, you work together. Kung Lao shouldn't go on his own either, type thing. They instantly pour into, Shung Sang.
The perfect spot.
Perfect spot. Shung Sang, Vorpix, and Taja are stood facing those two. I think Vorpix is holding Taja, and Sang Sung is having a go at Kung Lao. I've got her, trade, and he's like, you didn't come alone. Who was he doing here? And Kung Lao's like, and Shang Tsung's like, I can't believe you came. And Kung Lao's like, yeah, we came for the deal. It's changed now though. 2 of them from me.
Yeah.
And Shang Tsung's like, you try and negotiate with me here? And Kung Lao says this thing about either way you lose. You can't fight me here, Shang Tsung. You have me here, but you can't kill me or fight me. So either way you lose. And Shang Tsung's like, I don't want to fight you. And then he calls in a guy, and this guy is generic Masked Ninja 57.
Yeah.
That's what I'm going to name him.
Shirtless.
Baggy karate trousers, balaclava fully around his face. However, Masked Warrior 57 might be the best warrior of them all. We'll discuss why. He starts fighting Zero.
Yeah.
And Kung Lao rushes into hell. And Shang Tsung's like, you get involved, she dies.
Yeah.
So Zero and this masked ninja guy start having a fight. And this guy is kicking Zero's ass normally. And then he has swords.
Yeah.
He pulls swords out of nowhere, and then Zero kicks the swords out of his hand. And then Master Warrior 57 resorts to, and I looked this up, drunken monkey fighting style. He uses open palm things, running around on all fours, blocking kicks, jumping. So he's sat basically on Zero's shoulders,
knees
hitting him.
Shoulders, and then it's elbows and palms on the face.
Yeah. And Zero is getting his ass handed to him, but then Zero effectively hulks up.
Yeah. And
one kick eventually, he literally just manages one kick, and it sends Monkey Warrior 57
Yeah.
That's the joke.
Pause. Cool.
Right, are we back into it?
Yeah.
Okay, so we're drunken monkey fighting. Zero does a kick. It's like a desperate kick maneuver, but it sends Drunken Monkey Warrior 57 into a rock, knocks him down, and even Shang Tsung's like, "You got lucky."
Yeah.
And then Shang Tsung's like, "Well, you're just going to be my prisoners. I'm not going to honor the deal." And Kung Lao's like, he basically goes, "No, you're not going to honor the deal, are you? Well, we're not going to be staying here." Pulls out the essence.
Yeah.
Like, it starts to go. Shang Tsung yells an amazing "No!" And then Taja runs off. It's like, "I'm going to find my dad!" And just leaves.
Yeah, so I'm not leaving without my dad.
Just fucking leaves. Like, she takes her sprinting. Kung Lao's just stood there holding it like, oh shit. And that's it.
Yeah.
There's nothing else to. So she leaves Sierra and Kung Lao for dead, man.
Yeah.
Like, I was like, it was such a dick move. It was like brilliant. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, completely undoes any of her like character development because it just makes her look like a fucking asshole idiot. Like, but I loved it. Like, and Kung Lao's face of just like,
you just have to stop the crystal working.
Yeah.
And then Shang Tsung's just like, mine now.
yeah.
You spent a whole episode protecting this from me. You just fucking voted me.
And Kung Lao like doesn't even try. Shang Tsung's like, "Oh, I recognise this, a crystal that can take anyone anywhere." And then he says, "My thanks for your stupidity." And I was just like, "Oh my god, that's amazing!" I fucking loved it.
Yeah.
And then Vulpix goes after Taja, basically. Right, we get Taja, and they do the bad smell thing of she just puts her hand on her nose.
Yeah.
And there's a bunch of like, first, oh no, she sees. No, this isn't skeletons. Is it skeletons?
It's like people hung up. There is one skeleton.
She saw skeletons moving. No, she sees the skeletons.
Oh yeah.
She walks and she sees like skeletons in a wall, just sort of like skeleton warriors, just stood there like,
Just trying to.
Yeah. It was fucking weird. I don't get what it was for. The skeletons weren't moving or anything. It just
They were moving. There was some of them were moving,
but they were like
weird.
stuck on the wall and just like talking but not. Like, I don't get what it was meant to be. And then maybe they're the warriors that they're digging out that they're meant to be finding in the rock. I don't know. But yeah, then she's like holding her nose, like, oh, it's a bad smell. And then she finds a bunch of people basically tied from the ceiling, and it's like, oh my god. And then Vorpix appears and like, it's a death chamber. And that seems enough for Taja. And then Taja like turns one of the guys around, and his face is basically like a skeletal face, and he's dying. And then we get Kung Lao and Zero. They're behind bars.
Before that, you do have a great line.
Go for it.
From Vortex. It's don't worry, these guys are lucky. They get to leave soon.
Yeah. Nice. I missed that line.
So just Death Chambers is like, these guys are lucky. They actually get to leave.
Then we go to Zero and Kung Lao behind bars, and these are film bars.
Yeah.
So the bars are way wider. In film, when you put someone behind bars, if they were really behind bars, like in an actual jail cell, the bars are so close to each other that it obscures their face. So when you want to film, you actually have wider bars.
Yeah.
But the problem with this is if you then have your actors leaned against the bars in a small space like they filmed here, it always looks like your actors could just turn sideways and just go through the bars.
And they sort of get away with this because they're like rock bars that are also 5 times as thick. So the gap being thick actually sort of works.
Yeah, you could just argue magic had a totally put into it. But it was a bit... And this, like... Kung Lao and Zero just basically have a nothing moment of I hope Taja's okay, which is like, she fucking left you both for dead. Like, but I did like think at this point, why not just kill Zero? Like, if I was Shang Tsung, I don't want him to kill Zero. I actually like Zero, but it's just like, you sent the warrior after him. He got lucky. You've got the essence. Kung Lao's there. You don't need to bargain with Kung Lao for anything.
Yeah.
Why is Zero being kept alive right now?
Yeah.
What is your purpose? Like, do you just want to beat him up later? Like, you know what I mean? And why would you put them in a cell together in a mine that has like 100 floors and clearly has a bunch of chains and a death chamber and everything else? So we then go back to Taja and Vorpix. Taja stops walking. Vorpix is like, "What are you doing?" And Taja's like, I can't do this to Kung Lao and Zero. It's like, it's a bit fucking late.
Yeah, you fucked this up now.
How do you know? Like, for all you know, they are fucking dead. You
Yeah.
left them with Shang Tsung and a bunch of unknown warriors all around. You cannot now turn around and say you didn't. But and then Vorpix instantly says, "Now you have this idea."
Yeah.
And like instantly tells her, like, "Dude, you left them. They're probably dead. Just leave it." But Taja's like, "No," and runs away from Vorpix back the way she came.
Yeah.
Shang Tsung catches Vorpix.
Yeah.
Like at that point, like
Turns
after
up just
Taja's
after.
done. Yeah.
The fact that he didn't see Taja is kind of shocking. But
yeah. Well, did he? And just let's go. And Shang tells her, like, basically, I've got Kung Lao all ready for the Emperor.
Yeah, I've got the essence.
I've got Kung Lao tied up. Emperor definitely has to forgive me now.
Yeah.
So go tell him. And Vorpix is like, "You want me to tell him to come in?" It's like, "Yeah, tell him to come here."
Tell him I summon him, which is the risky part of it.
Yeah. Vorpix is like, "What if he kills me?" He's like, "He won't kill you, and he'll reward us both when he sees what we've got." Walks away. Vorpix watches Shang Tsung walk away, turns out the room, and goes, "I will tell him, but when I'm ready."
Yeah.
And then turns around and storms off. And I loved it's like, I have to, like, it's like, I need to tell him this, so I have to vocalise what I'm thinking, but I have to wait till he's out of the way so that he doesn't hear me. But I'm still going to say it out loud in an angry way. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like just her moment of, And
remember that bit, because there's a bit that annoys me about that afterwards.
Go on.
It's after, like, we go through. It's a later bit, but it's relative to
Okay. Taja finds Kung Lao and Zero.
Yeah.
She's like, "I'm really sorry," and they just forgive her. Which I would not be forgiving her. Like, I would just be, "You fucking left us for dead, you fucking idiot."
I know. Although, in fairness, Zero's like, yeah, you're sorry, fine, you're forgiven. Now get us out.
And then we get a shining fucking moment. I fucking love this. This is definitely one of Vorpix's, like, good acting scenes.
Yeah.
Vorpix shows up.
Yeah.
And Zero and Kung Lao are like, "What the hell's she doing here? She wants Shang Tsung." And Taja's like, "No, she sort of doesn't. I think we can trust her." And Vorpix's like, "I don't work for anyone. I'm just doing what's best for me." And Taja's like, she's helped me try to find my dad. I think we can trust her." And it's like, and then Kung Lao and Zero are like, "Okay, if you say we can trust her." And Vorpix's like, "Thank you, Shang Tsung!" And just shouts him. And Shang Tsung, who must have been within shouting distance, just appears. And it's like an instant betrayal. I fucking love it. It's like instant. "No, you can trust me." Instant betrayal. There wasn't even like any time for lines or anything. Shang Tsung
and brought it back to you.
Yeah. Sung turns up, so Zero starts like hitting the bars with like some stick thing and breaks them.
Yeah, it's a pickaxe, I think.
Yeah. Where did he get the pickaxe from?
Oh, Taja gave him it.
It was Taja gave him the pickaxe.
When he told him to get out, Taja picked up
Right.
Right. See, I can understand you being like, "Oh, where did he get that from?"
Mm-hmm.
He got it from Taja. It made perfect sense. Taja picked up an axe and a pickaxe. Not entirely sure where Taja got them from, though.
Right.
They were just there.
Yeah.
Just right next to him. No reason.
This bar, like, Kung Lao's like, "Zero," and Zero's like, "Dong, dong, dong," broken.
Yeah.
We're out. And then we get like a double thing. We get like Kung Lao fighting two like Masked Warrior 58 and 59. Sadly, just generic warriors, no monkey style, no nothing here. And we get Shang Tsung force choking, like Darkseid Darth Vader style choking Zero.
Yeah.
So Zero can't do anything, but not killing him, just holding him there and choking him. And the Kung Lao fight was pretty shit. It was kicks and punches, and there was nothing going on there. But the weird music came back. That dun 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 that we'd heard before when they were watching the Chain Gang. Thankfully, no strobe light this time. Then Taja basically runs into Shang Tsung to knock his concentration so he can't choke Zero, and Shang Tsung just one hand chokes her away and goes, "Brave but foolish," or "Brave but stupid." They then like. This is where I got a bit confused. So Kung Lao basically like wins his fight just by like kicks. The two like it's literally they cut back and like one's down and he knocks the other one out. So we didn't really see. And he runs to like Taja and Zero, and they all just run. And Shang Tsung was like stood watching them with Vorpix, and then Vorpix is like, "I know a shortcut."
Yeah.
A shortcut to where? where, like, this is your home.
Yeah.
They've never been here before, except maybe Taja, who knows only the route the Vulpix went on. And they're right there. It's not like they had like a day's head start and you need to cut them off and kills a day time in your journey. Like, just chase them.
Yeah.
Like, it just confused. I didn't get what Vulpix was talking about at that bit. But anyway, the three run, and then they stop, and Kung Lao's all like, "Oh, I've made a mistake. I can't believe this." And Taja's like, "Yeah, well, you can get home with this." And she stole the essence. And it's like, "Well, how'd you get that?" And he goes, "Well, you know, Shang Tsung's like a sorcerer. I'm a pickpocket. That's what I do." Like, really cocky. It's like, you left them for dead. You told them they could trust Vulpix and were instantly proved wrong. Don't play all cocky and smiley now. But then I did love this bit. They hold the essence. It starts making like magic noises and light starts appearing. And Taja's like, "Okay, you two go. I have to find my father." And they both just go, "No!" And both of them grab her and just drag her back. And they disappear.
Yeah.
And then Shang Tsung like arrives with Vulpix just afterwards and is all like, "I lost everything."
Yeah.
And he's like, "The Emperor's gonna be pissed." And Vulpix is like, "I could torture him for you if you want."
And this is the bit that bugs me.
Right?
She's like, he's gonna be pissed that I summoned him, and it is.
Yeah.
And Vulpix like, "Oh, I can talk to him if you want. I'll go back." He's like, "Oh, he'll just kill you." And she's like, "No, if I get him before he leaves the throne room, I'll be fine." And stuff. Why didn't Vulpix just go, "Well, you know how I found Taja like 2 seconds after you told me to go to the Emperor? Didn't actually have time to go all the way up to the fucking Emperor and tell him, and then get all the way back and catch it in those 2 seconds, funnily enough. So he never got summoned."
Well, yeah, if she was being honest, that'd be the way. But what I quite like the idea is that basically she goes, "Yeah, I'll be like a day." And Shang Tsung's like, "Okay, here, out the mines for a day."
Yeah.
So she just goes and gets a manicure. Has like a day off. Like, he thinks I'm with the Emperor, but I'm not.
Shang Tsung's just so fucking dumb at that point. It's like, how does he not realise that she couldn't have possibly gone to the Emperor and back? And then, although you do have the little bit of cockiness there as well, which I do love from that moment.
Yeah.
Where Shang Tsung's like, "Why would you do that for me?" And she's like, "For all the things you do for me." And he's just like, "Yeah, I do stuff for you." It's like, you don't do anything for her. Like, you just like, you just go back, "Yeah, cool."
The inference is because of your sexual prowess.
Yeah.
Which is why he probably cut it. He's like,
Yeah, I'll accept it.
Yeah. And then this is why I thought, like, we have one scene left, and this scene was crying out for Raiden, but it didn't get him.
Yeah.
And it's just Zero and Taja basically having a little heart to heart, and Zero's like, "So, I found out there's all this stuff about you that I didn't realise. You're not just the generic female character in our merry band. You have a life and a boyfriend. Want to talk about it, champ?" And Taja's a bit like, "Oh, I don't. I'm just my dad." No. And Zero's like, "Well, you know, maybe we'll find him one day," and da-da-da. And then Taja, like, feels something, and it's a ring.
Yeah.
And Zero's like, "What's that?" And she's like, "It's my father's ring."
But just before that, it does this fucking horrible zoom in to get...
Yes.
An absolutely horrible zoom in that goes right into the ring.
I thought of you. What's our history with zooms?
Sam tries to do zooms, I tell him off and then cut them.
Yeah. Every film, like, I will always make sure we get, like, the shots that we want or some safety shots.
Yeah.
And then I'll try a zoom. And I think twice in 10 years of making films have we used the zooms.
Yeah.
And you hate them. And I understand why you hate them. Because a lot of zooms look shit. You have to be really talented and really good to put in a good zoom. The 2 times we've used them, probably dumb luck rather than like my talent or ability with a camera.
Yeah. The one time that I accept the use of zooms is if you're going for a vertigo shot, because you have to. That's how you do it.
When you're doing the focus as well, so the background. Yeah, I love those shots.
And the only other time is if you're going for like a thing that's meant to be jarring, like, and it has to be like one of those really, really fast zooms, which is what this shot could have been, but wasn't.
But in another film, this is a comedy.
Yeah.
Like in another well, if this episode was a comedy where they were always looking for a ring and they didn't have the
Yeah.
ring, and then she found it was in her pocket the whole time, it would be like a comedy zoom. You'd have like a woo, and
Yeah.
then like you the end shot is her holding the ring, cut,
Yeah.
and then like Curb Your Enthusiasm, dun 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 dun
Yeah.
dun 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 dun, like, but it wasn't,
No.
and it didn't look good. And I thought of you when I saw it, and we're out. And
Yeah.
that end scene could have just died. Didn't need to be there at all. You could have ended with Shang Tsung and Vorpix, and basically the same thing happened. Yeah. So that was the episode. So I have to make up my mind how I feel about this episode. You go.
I didn't mind it as far as like filler episodes go. It actually did extra progression, and it gave us more backstory for.
Yep, that'd be the
Taja,
door
I think.
again, but we'll hang
Yeah.
off.
So yeah, like it was fine. Wasn't the worst episode. Like there was loads of bits like I left you rambling, telling quite a bit of the thing where it was so dull that I don't remember any of those bits. I was waiting for you to get to a bit where I was like, that was a good moment. I remember that moment.
Did it go quick or slow?
I'd say the second half went quite quick. The first half a bit slower.
Cool. I'm just going to have to answer the door.
Yeah.
Because we're getting
Break
nuts.
time!
Yeah. Yeah, right, back. So, yeah, it went quick for you then.
Yeah, overall.
Yeah. It went really quick at the beginning. Actually, the whole episode went quite quick. I quite enjoyed that bit. I just don't know. Like, I like that it's moved more towards characters doing things.
Yeah.
I like that. And more like detail on Taja and the Junker Monkey fight. I would love to watch more martial arts mixed in there. But there were so many ridiculously stupid bits. Some of them I really loved. Like when Taja just leaves them for dead. Fucking brilliant. But other bits, like some of the lines and character motivation, just dumb.
Yeah.
Just dumb. Like
The whole time scale was horrible.
it was interesting having more of a Taja approach, and you could watch it for Shang Tsung alone, but it was filler.
Yeah.
But I liked it actually. I liked
I'm
this
hoping
episode.
it'll at least set something up later,
Yeah.
and like something will come from it.
I preferred this episode to. Was it last week's? Was a really hard watch.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, this was much better. This was
Like,
definitely
last
improvement.
week was repeat of the episode before, basically.
Oh, it was Cyril
Yeah.
going. Yeah.
It was just the same
Yeah.
shit again. So yeah.
And the next episode's called Quan Chi, who's a very iconic Mortal Kombat character.
Yeah. So hopefully next time will be good, and
Yeah.
they won't just do a noob side bar and be like, bollocks.
If they bring it back.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right.
Cool. Bye.
Bye.